technically, I have like 20 minutes of this book left, and I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to the last portion of this book. But nothing that I read is going to change my opinions because I've already seen them get together. I've seen them fall apart from one another. And where I'm at now is like, again, 20 minutes left. The reconciliation. It's a romance. I know they're going to get together. But this book is so bad. And like, I wish that it was good. I do. Desperate, maybe not. But I do wish that it was better or that I had a better time with it. But like, this is just like comic level of just poor writing. Actually, is it the writing? I don't know. I feel like the execution is like where we're losing me. Again, I think that for me personally, it's going to be a very hard sell to tell me that you are writing a book inspired by Belle from Disney for the Disney line of reimaginings. And the most inventive thing that you could come up with is that she wants to be an author. And she is going to spend 2 weeks working with this man, allegedly writing a memoir. And it's like allegedly, because he's not really writing a memoir, he's writing an expose. He is the child of famous screenwriters. And I think he might have dabbled in acting himself at some point. And he was in the tabloids as a child. And so, like, he's, you know, a reformed bad boy, come recluse, sure. But the story he actually wants to seem to write about is how, I guess, spoiler alert for this book, his father was not really a good person. He was, like, low-key abusive. And his father would take his mother's screenplays and take credit for them. In one of those screenplays, won an Oscar, and they fought about it that night because I guess the father did not thank the mother, and they came home arguing. And as a child, Bo was just like, my mom is so mean. How can my mom be so mean to my dad? Like, it was an honest mistake. And so he just like was really upset with his mommy for all those years, and he took his daddy's side, only to find out when his daddy died that his daddy wasn't anything, didn't have no talent. It was all his mother. And so now he's feeling guilty, and that's why he's locked himself away inside his dead grandparents' residence. And honestly, it's just boring. It's not a memoir. Like, I'm sorry. Like, doesn't impact you, I guess. But like, come on now. This isn't about you. You're supposed to be writing about yourself. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So like, that's his like motivation for everything that's happening. And now where I'm at, we're learning that Bo had this immediate attraction to her because of course he did. And he just like really wanted to be able to make her smile, but he could make her smiles. And then there's just something about this book where these characters just don't talk. I'm sorry. So much of the third act of this book is our main character going, oh my goodness, but what if he doesn't feel the same way? Oh my goodness, we've been fucking in his gigantic palatial mansion, but I have to go back to New York now, and what if he never talks to me again? And I'm like, and it's like, ma'am, how about you open your mouth? Like, how about you open your mouth and communicate these things? The entire book, she's been sitting there being his rah-rah cheerleader. You can do it. You can write a book. You can write a book. It's not hard. It's hard, but you know what? You can do it. You can do it, rah-rah. You can do it, Bo. Yay, you did it. Doing all this bullshit, all this shucking and driving and tomfoolery. And she is just never one to, like, advocate for herself, which is, I'm sorry, like, that is just not Belle. Like, that is just not the Belle we know. It's just, if it takes, again, like, if this was, like, a generic Beauty and the Beast, okay, but like this is specifically for the Disney book imprint based on their IP. So it's just like, take from her. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. Like, this, for this character, this woman to be allegedly based on Belle doesn't make no fucking sense. I think that there are some if you were going to take the Disney version of the fairy tale, I feel like there are some very important things for you to take. One is that Belle wants adventure in the great wide somewhere, not to be locked up in a fucking bookshop drinking teas and sipping coffee and going, I'm going to be an author. That's not fucking Belle. Again, because part of what makes her sacrifice a sacrifice is, yes, it's for her father. She doesn't want to see her father die in a dungeon. She's like a good person. But also it's a sacrifice of not being able to go on these adventures and have, tales of her own. She has to sacrifice that again, yes, for her father, but also her own dreams of leaving the little provincial. She wants more than the provincial town. She wants more than that. And like, sure, she's living in like the big city. She lives in New York City, okay. But now she's gonna go to fucking Santa Barbara. Fucking Santa Bar. Listen, nothing against the Santa Barbarans. Like, I got nothing against you. Psych is a fun show, but like, talk about provincial life. Talk about prevent. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Jasmine Guillory? Like, what is not clicking? What is not clicking? What is not clicking? It's so fucking stupid. And so for like most of the book, it's just giving like she is sacrificing again, which is a Belle trait. Like, I'll give you that, but it just feels like she is sacrificing so much of herself and not communicating what she actually wants. And Beau is not reciprocating anything. He's just kind of existing. And at some point he dicks her down, but it's just like, okay, you need to bring more than just the dick to the conversation, sir. Like, it's like this book is embarrassing on just like every level, on every level. Like, this is maybe I'm just too hard because I think that Julie Murphy understood the assignment a little too well. Okay, she said, I'm going to take your Cinderella, and she did stuff really interesting with Cinderella. She did interesting things with the stepsisters, with Drusilla and Anastasia. They were interesting characters. Even Lady Tremaine in the in the Cinderella reimagining that they wrote for this same series. It's just like Julie Murphy had fun with it. She took the movie and she had fun with it. She had fun. I don't feel Jasmine Guillory having fun with Beauty and the Beast. I feel like Jasmine Guillory already had a book written and she said, here you go. Here you go. It kind of fits. It kind of works. But this woman spending 2 months in this little mansion is just silly. It's fucking silly. No part of this book was enjoyable for me. Easily my least favorite romance of the year. But it's not like a bad, like I couldn't put it on my worst books of the year list, even though this is my least favorite romance of the year. I don't think the book is like actively bad. I think that it fails the assignment. And I can't say what it does give me because again, it's not very kind, but the relationship between these two characters feels very one-sided. No matter what I'm currently hearing about how he was, in lust with her from the beginning and how they had all these like fun little date nights over the course of the 2 months that she spent living there. It's just a little too deeply unserious, and all the conflict of them being together is like in their minds. It's just very silly. Then they're like also like sneaking around the mansion talking about, I can't let my assistant know. Why can't the assistant know? Like, it feels very weird. Like the relationship dynamics feels very weird. I want more for both of them, but honestly, Beau Towers can like fuck right off because I really don't care about him at all. So honestly, between everybody that is currently watching this video and me, the book isn't good. I don't recommend it. I don't want anyone to read it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just not good. It's not actively good. It's an actively bad experience having read this book. And I think that you would have a better experience reading literally any other romance that you could find, that you can get your hands on. So for me, this is a pass. And I would really like to be able to go into Kiss the Girl by Zoraida Cordova, but there doesn't appear to be an audiobook of that. So I don't think I'm going to, because the library is closed tomorrow for Christmas Eve, and then it's going to be closed again on Monday for sure, for Christmas. And so, I guess in theory I could like check out the ebook, but as we learned from, you can't even see it. But as you learned from here, I'm not really an ebook girly unless it's an ARC. So I don't know. I do know that tomorrow I will be rereading the Sarah J. Maas, and that might be the only thing that I do tomorrow between you and me. I should also like pre-film. In theory, I should pre-film whatever my Christmas video is going to be tomorrow so I can really enjoy my Christmas. But I think that on Christmas, we're definitely going to be talking about the Color Purple musical, because I'm seeing that in the afternoonish time. So that'll be a thing that I talk about with you. And then, I don't know, we'll be closing out Vlogmas and True Vlogmas style with me on the day of figuring out what I'm going to be reading. But tomorrow's going to be all about Sarah and her little novella. That's my annual tradition these days. So I will be participating in that. And then maybe I'll finally read that other... maybe I'll finally read The Battle of the Labyrinth. I don't know. I guess I do want to take a moment here and say that my best and worst of lists are still they're gonna be coming in the beginning of 2024 because business is still open. It is only the 23rd of December. I still have 8 days to read things, and I'm going to be taking advantage of most of those 8 days. After Monday, I might take a small break because it's been 25 days of reading and editing and filming and upload. Is it a lot? It's been a lot for the past 25 days. So I might take a break in that, I won't be reading all the way, but I will be reading up until December 31st because we're getting my last book of the year reading vlog, my first book of the year reading vlog. Then you'll get my best, my worst, and my 4-star books I think you should read expeditiously because I liked filming that so much last year. So that is going to be my content. I've been seeing, best and worst of lists since like December 10th, and it feels a little premature because like I said, right now where I'm at, maybe because I haven't actually finished like the end on, this little by the book, that I don't want to put on my worst books of the year, but it could very well end up there. And if I had filmed that video prematurely, it would never be there. So I do try to avoid any and all like, oh, I could have included this. No, bitch. From, if you were read from January 1st to December 31st, you are eligible for inclusion. And so I will be taking full advantage of all of my calendar days to fully consider and to read and to vet all of the selections for those lists. So that is why you haven't seen those and you won't see those until later on. No part of me is like no shade to the people who've already filmed them, but it's just like, what are we doing, guys? Like, I guess some people like are done reading, and so like it makes sense. Like you're done reading, you can form these lists. But like, I don't want to be the person that films those lists and I'm still reading things. Like, even if it doesn't end up on the best or the worst list, like could have, like the possibility is there, and I would just feel in my spirit some kind of annoyance. Like I feel like I would need to upload an addendum and be like, I know I told you guys it was the worst list, but actually, and I want to avoid that. So that is why you haven't seen those, and you won't see those until closer to the new year. Like literally, literally 2024, not even closer. Like January 2nd, you'll see that video from me. So there'll be a pause, and then there'll be another like week of me filming a bunch of content for you, and you'll get that. And then there'll be another pause, and there'll be a January wrap up. So that's kind of how things gonna go. We might do a December wrap up because I know not everyone has watched every vlog, and I might actually do a wrap up this year, whereas I didn't last year. So there might be like a special Boxing Day video, or it won't be a Boxing Day video. It'd be like a New Year's Eve video, because I might not actually read on that day. So on that day I could do my wrap up. So we'll see what's happening. But for right now, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And until then, and until next time.